Hello everyone and welcome to Lantern Year 4. Alright, I set aside the resources, I set aside the characters I think I'm going to take with me, but we'll double check everything. The first thing we want to do is update the timeline, and the first thing we need to do is Nemesis Butcher. So let's go find this timeline event. I guess it's not a timeline event. Perhaps it's Showdown setups. This is going to be Showdown setups. So, Nemesis the Butcher. This guy looks intense. This is going to be the first fight where the training wheels are kind of taken off. I hope we do well. Showdown the Butcher. Nemesis encounter. Departing survivors do not have a hunt phase. Instead, select the Butcher's monster level. It should be one greater than the last Butcher encounter. And set up the showdown accordingly. So there's no hunt. He's coming to us. That's basically what a Nemesis fight is. And we have no choice but to fight him. It is a story event. So there once was a man who could not hide his fear. He wore a mask that transformed his cowardice into rage. In turn, the man transformed into a monster. All that remained was a devouring fury that stalked the night, collecting the fearful faces of others. So we do get our crafting opportunity. We still get to spend endeavors, but when we depart, we will depart to face the Butcher. So before I go on, the next thing we have to do is Gorm Weather Settlement event. So let's find out what this Gorm Weather is. I actually do know what it is from my campaign with my friends. Gorm Climate is the actual name of the card. I have Gorm Weather there. It should be Gorm Climate. Alright. Gorm Climate. The returning survivors find the settlement, I'll zoom in, tormented by relentless foul weather. Add Gorm Climate to the next Lantern Year on the timeline and roll 1d10. So Gorm Climate, until you get rid of it in a certain special way, constantly comes back. And I cannot get rid of it yet. Let's roll a d10 and determine our fate here. We get a 5. So 4 through 7, does the settlement have hovel? We do have hovel. The survivors huddle inside as razor winds and sickening lightning pummel the settlement. +2 to endeavor results at home innovations this Lantern Year. Alright, I'll leave this card here. So not too bad of a settlement event, but every single year we'll be rolling on this chart until I deal with it. So +2 to our innovation. Endeavor results at home innovation. So if I had an innovation here and I needed to roll an endeavor, if it said home, I'd get a +2 for it. Alright, that's all well and good. So the next thing on our agenda is actually going to be to endeavor. So these are our resources that we have available to us. Probably not using this. We have to do the Nemesis fight. I suppose if you wanted to skip the Butcher, you could eat this. And when you depart, the tree would supersede the Butcher. But we're going to fight the Butcher, of course. I'm curious to see if I can handle him. He is very dangerous, though. Alright, first thing I want to do, we'll sacrifice a hide, bone, organ. Get rid of those from our inventory. And we will lose an endeavor. If you remember from the last episode, we already spent 2 on the settlement event. So we'll spend an endeavor. We will innovate. So let's shuffle up this deck. And we get to pick 1 out of 4 cards thanks to Symposium. So we have records, albedo, paint, and a bed. Let's see what they do. Bed increases our survival limit. We get to rest for an endeavor. And if we got a 4+, you wouldn't be able to endeavor again in the settlement phase. Skip the next hunt. You may remove one of the following. Right, whatever survivor wishes to endeavor here, you get 1 opportunity to do it. You get to cure all broken arm, hip, rib, and ruptured muscle severe injuries. So it's handy. Paint. The settlement swells with creative energy. All survivors gain the dash survival action. This one's handy too. Albedo. 2 endeavors. Once this lantern year roll 1d10, you can make an elixir of forgetfulness. Turning survivors lose 1 level of weapon proficiency. That sucks. Elixir of concentration. Spend 4 organs to gain 1 Gorm brain. That's very rare. Pretty sure this is one of the few ways to get it, if not the only. And 10 up, an elixir restoration. Returning survivors change 1 negative attribute modifier of their choice to 0. Interesting. Add albedo consequences. And then we have records here. 2 endeavors to roll d10. Move Nemesis Encounter Watcher 1 year forward on the timeline. If the event is moved to this year, trigger it now. So bring Watcher closer. Record keeping duty. Skip the next hunt. Oh, that sucks. 3 to 5. You learn nothing. Nothing! Gain any fighting art a survivor currently has. Does not include secret fighting arts. 10+. Set your XP to 0. You may gain the benefits of the Age story event again. In all honesty, I don't think that's worth it. 6 to 9 is worth it. 1 to 5 is obviously not. 10. I mean, getting the benefits of the first Age story event or all Age story events. That's kind of how I feel about that. So I think bed would be fine to get. It is an increase to survival limit, and survival limit is a big deal. So I'm going to go with the bed. We can rest our survivors if anyone ever gets severe injuries. We do not add new consequences for this. So I will put these back. And that is our innovation for the year. Okay, so I have 1 more endeavor that I can spend. And then I have all of this that we can craft with before we tackle the butcher. Now, I know from experience that I'm going to want more band-aids, at least 1 more person that has them. Because the butcher's a real punk about bleed tokens. Band-aids cost a hide to utilize. Otherwise, we have a handed skull, dense bones, stout kidney, jiggling lard. I will look into our gourmery just to see what can we get here. I don't have a meaty rib, don't have a mammoth hand. I do have a dense bone and a stout hide. I have a dense bone and a jiggling lard. I could make a greater gax. Could make a greater gax. What is a greater gax? Greater gax. Melee weapon. Axe. 2-handed. Heavy. Deadly reach 2. On a perfect hit, the edge sharpens. Gain +4 strength for the rest of the attack. If I have a complete green and a red. I don't think I can complete a green, but still, 6 up, 2 dice, 6 up, 4 strength. That seems pretty good to me. I think I'll make a greater Gax here. I won't set it in stone yet. I'll just put these aside for now while I think about it. The rest of this stuff I feel like for safety reasons, another bandage would be good, and it costs a hide. So this would become a... Let's take this stuff out while I ponder my choices. This would become a bandage. Alright. By the way, I was looking up some information, learning more about the game as I get deeper and deeper into the story. I was right about intimidate attacks. Evasion does not help against those. There are some other things I have gained knowledge about, so if they come up again, I'll bring them up. We have a fresh acanthus. There's not really anything else to do with this but make a dried acanthus. So let's make a dried acanthus. I think there is one more in here. There is. I cannot make any more dried acanthus. Unlike with monster resources where you archive them and return them to their decks, you do not, you cannot copy and make more than what the settlement can produce of these things. Oh, there's actually, yeah, there's only 3, so we'll just give it to that guy for now. I'll sort that out later. So we have 3 bones, 3 organs, and these 2 things I'm fairly certain I can't even use. They're scraps. Yeah, scraps. We don't really work with scraps yet. Haven't gotten the lantern. I could go for a tier 2 technology of 3 bones and 3 organs. So the 3 organs and the hide. I can't do that. 3 bones. I can't do hide either. The 3 hide one uses the organ, and then the other 2 use hide. I'm surprised I didn't cycle them so that one of them used 1 bone to produce. Alright, so no tier 3 buildings for me as we are low on hide. That means I have bones left and organs. Alright, what other Gorm stuff can we make? What's this? This you can spend 2 organs, you get a d10, add 1 d10 for each Gorm Kaimi innovation in your settlement, add the roll results and gain the corresponding gear or resource. So I only have 1. The most I could get is a 20. A steadfast potion? So I could get a steadfast potion, a wisdom, a healing potion, or a random Gorm resource. Healing potion. At the end of the showdown, if you suffered any permanent injuries, you may archive this card and remove one of your choice. Well, that's a temporary one-time use. Doesn't seem very good. Wisdom and steadfast. Steadfast. When you ignore a hit with block, gain 1 strength token. When you are knocked down, lose all your strength tokens. I don't have a shield and a wisdom potion. If I have a blue and a blue attached to this, so 2 blues, play the showdown with the top card of the hit location deck revealed. Now that's really good, but not necessary, and I have the cat eye circlet. What are the odds of the wisdom? 13 through 18? Not good. I'm not going to use my resources on that. So the rest of this, riot mace. I don't have a pure bulb. If I had a pure bulb, maybe I could make a riot mace instead of the greater gax. Greater gax is still good though. A gax, a regular gax. Let's see what a regular gax is like. So there's the greater gax, which is cool. It has reach. It has deadly, which means it has 1 luck. Where is a gax? That's the riot mace. Armor spikes. Gax. Hits on a 6 up, also 4 strength. Weapon, melee, axe, bone. Gains +1 speed and savage if you have a red. Each showdown, the first time you critically wound the monster, it gains -1 evasion token. So it doesn't have reach, but it has the same stats and only 1 dice for it. That still seems super good. -1 evasion token, so hitting's easier. A dense bone and a stout hide. I don't have hide. I have that hide that I really want the bandage for. Oh, I could sacrifice the bandage for an axe. What would you guys do? Would you get an axe? A gax? Would you get a G-axe? That I can totally gain the savage benefit for, so technically it swings with 2 dice. What is the savage rule? Let's look that up. That is something I'm not familiar with. Let's look up savage in the glossary real quick. I would be willing to sacrifice one bandage. We could have one guy on bandage duty. That's probably a huge mistake. Savage should be up here. Savage. After the first critical wound in an attack, savage weapons cause 1 additional wound. This rule does not trigger on impervious hit locations. So if you crit, you do 2 damage instead of 1. It's honestly pretty good. That is pretty good. I'm making a gax. We're putting these bandages back. I'm gonna regret this later. Alright. So we're getting a gax, a greater gax. Yo, axes are where it's at. Axes are where it is at. Seriously. I have 2 bones left and 3 organs. Well, with the organs, what I can do, I have 2 monster grease. I could make a 3rd monster grease. And I think the 3rd monster grease would be the last monster grease that I can make. Yeah, so we can make a monster grease for a monster organ. That leaves me with a stout kidney, an active thyroid, and a handed skull and a regular skull. So what else do you make here? Handed skull and the hide would have made a gourmet mask. I don't have the hide, so I need hide for all this, except for the regeneration stupid. I don't have stomach lining. Pulse lantern uses the active thyroid. I don't have a milky eye. Stout heart for Gorn, 3 bone. Armor spikes, stout vertebrae, 1 scrap. Too bad I didn't get that. Acid gland to those, a gormite and a handed skull. I have a handed skull. Oh man. I know how to get a gormite. In fact, it's right here on the Gormkaimi. The only way to get a gormite is a 37+ roll on this. It's not realistically plausible to get a gormite, but this black sword, I'll show it to you guys. This black sword is sex. 10 strength, 5+ to hit, 3 attacks. On a perfect hit, you gain a survival. If you're a swordmaster for any reason, you understand this weapon's potential, and it gains 20 strength. You just auto wound everything. Yeah, black sword's pretty fucking cool. Maybe I'll make it an objective of mine to try and get one. Just as easily lost, though, if like you're fighting a ram and it eats your weapon because you somehow failed a hit or some shit. Actually, I think a ram would only eat you if you fail a wound. I can't make any cat stuff. Yeah, every single one of these needs, like, things the cat actually drops. Fecal salve, lucky charm. The fecal salve isn't that great of an item. You gain a survival when you depart. You're not a threat until you attack. If you have the priority target token, you remove it. You have to spend an action and become not a threat. But I mean, what else do I make with these two organs? I can of course save them. Saving this handed skull would be a decent idea, barring losing it for any reason. Because if I'm getting 2 more axes, right, that's an upgrade to these bone weapons. I really wish I could get a bandage on somebody. He would definitely love... Oh, this had the savage roll on it. That's convenient. We could just be an axe swinging party. Still have the bone darts for usefulness. Yeah, if I make those 2 axes, I don't really need... I think I'll hold on to my bones. I'll just keep these in storage. As for the organs, though, I probably should spend them. Like, even if I get a lucky charm, can anyone complete... What do you have? You're green, you're red, you're red. If I had a complete... I have 1 blue here. And then this would complete. The bandages would make a complete thing. With the lucky charm, so I could get a +1 luck. It's not necessary, but +1 luck is... It's like, okay. Wounding on 9s is... or critically wounding on 9s can be a big deal. 9s and 10s. So whoever has the bandage could have that. If I could get 3 green complete stuff and get an evasion build going, that would be sharp, but that's not a realistic possibility. This has a blue. But Cat Eye Circuit guy wouldn't want the lucky charm. I'll make a lucky charm. Why not? I'll make a lucky charm. We'll get rid of the this thing for that. And then the last item is an active thyroid. Consume! Roll 1d10 on a 7+, gain a permanent speed. Otherwise, your heart explodes, killing you instantly. I would not be willing to take the risk, although a permanent speed is super cool. None of these guys have permanent stats on them. Do they not? Yeah, I guess they don't have permanent stats on them. We have some cool abilities, though. I can't make a... like, if I made a second lucky charm, I can't give it to the same person. You can't carry 2 of the same gear unless it's a weapon. Weapons and shields you can. You just don't benefit from having 2 copies. I guess we'll just hold on to the organ then. So this is what we're getting. A monster grease, a lucky charm, a gax, and then a greater gax. Alright. Delete the resources. It is now set in stone. Alright, I'm going to have to figure out how I want to divvy up my newfound weapons and gear. So, we'll look at the party. I was thinking about bringing... I know that Monkey D. McCloud definitely had permanent strength. He had 3 natural strength on him. What happened to my permanent stats being marked? They seem to have disappeared. Well, I know what I can do real quick. Hopefully this doesn't come through. Let me just pause that. I'm going to reference the end of my video. I just need to find a screen where I'm looking at their cards. It's going to be pretty difficult to do that. Why? Did Monkey D. McLeod definitely had stats on him? I thought. Because they're listed. Marth should be listed as blank. He didn't have anything. Dixie, I thought, had extra stuff as well. And Palutena might have still been blank. I'm thoroughly confused by this. I really wish... There, wait, I took him out. I just saw the screenshot where I took him out, where I took out Monkey. It's where I'm sorting for the kids. So let me just double check. I do apologize for this, though. Come on, me. Open it. Open it. I'm like opening the character profiles. I'm trying to get to Monkey's part. I keep going through the females first. Okay. That's Donkey Kong. Did Monkey join us on the last hunt? I don't even remember. He was on the last hunt. Let me go back to the hunt. The end of the hunt. There he is. There, I can see him now. He had 3 strength, 2 evasion, and 1 strength was from a token. But he has 2 natural strength, and I don't know why that was taken off of my chart. I hope other characters weren't edited. Let me see something real quick. I want to see Samus, because Samus has speed. Where is she? There she is. Her stats were reset. Alright, well, seeing as I cannot trust my own game to memorize the proper permanent stat attributes for people, I'm pretty sure that the Insanity looks good. The I forgot to add it while I'm thinking about it. 1 survival limit for the bed. We are at 8. But here's what I'm going to do. I humbly apologize for this awkward ending to this episode. We've crafted, though. We've endeavored. You know what? I'm going to do one more. I got to use the endeavor. So I'm going to use the endeavor to share experience. And we will have, while these characters are out, Samus, 2 more than 0, will share experience with Toadette. Because why not? Actually, you know what? Instead of with Toadette, share the experience with Lindis Toadstool. That works out well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the video right here. I'm going to look over the past video for my character's permanent stats. I'm going to do it for everybody. Make sure they are all accurate. It's lucky for me I actually looked through all the character profiles when we were making babies. And while I'm doing this off screen, I'll update them. I'll set the gear. I'll get us ready for the battle. And then we will be ready to... Did Captain have anything wrong with him? No, guess not. Oh, that's Marth. Wait, it's not Captain Falcon. It's Marth. I'll get everybody ready to go, basically. So, thanks for bearing with me, guys. When we return, we will do, I guess, the hunt of Lantern Year 4 and take on our Nemesis the Butcher. Hope you guys look forward to it, because I know I do.